Hi, this is Pranjal Sharma from myTechnoLabs. I work here as a Chief Marketing Officer, and today we're going to discuss about how to find the right development partner for your IT projects. Today we're going to discuss about what are the problems or the pain points that you might face and what are the solutions and how iTechnoLabs can help you out with your outsourcing journey. Now let's talk about what are the problems a lot of people faces while outsourcing. So if you are in US, Canada, Middle East, or Europe, or any part of Asia, if you're outsourcing, there's a lot of common countries, and one of the most common country where I'm from, India, okay, it's famous for outsourcing. And if I talk about outsourcing issue, the first problem that you face is the time zone issue. A lot of people have this problem that they are not in the right time zone. If you're from the US, let's say, and somebody is working for you from India, they faces the time zone issue. Number two is communication gap. Now, if you're in the US, you're expecting a communication to happen in a certain way, and people, let's say you outsource the project to India, the communication may be not as far as you're expecting. Number three problem that we're going to talk about is the quality of the development. The kind of quality that you're looking for, okay, you're not getting up to the mark, and it is not as good as you want it to be. So we're going to talk about each of these problems. We're going to talk about the solutions, and we're going to talk about how to find the right outsourcing partner for your development work. So let's focus on the number one problem. That is the time zone issue. Okay, so time zone issue, if you're in US or Canada or any other country and you're outsourcing your project to in India, so it can happen, right? If you are outsourcing. Now if I talk about outsourcing, there could be options like if you either you're outsourcing to a freelancer or you're outsourcing to a company. If it is a freelancer, there might be few people working in the freelancing team, maybe one, two, or three people. Now in this case, if you're outsourcing the project to a freelancer, now they have to handle front end, back end, DevOps, database, if it is a web development or app development or AI or blockchain or any other web apps application they are working on. So there's a lot of task and work that they have to take care of. And if it's a very small team, then you will be very, you're having a hard time communicating with them on your time, getting the updates. Now on the contrary, people who deals with a company, okay, that comes with a dedicated project coordinator, project manager, individual like team members. So there are multiple people involved in that particular team, so that you don't get these kind of communication gap and problems. Now first thing first, you have to qualify is that either you're dealing with a small freelancing team or either you're dealing with a company. Now how can you check that? Now if you're outsourcing to India, there's a pro tip that I want to make sure is that ask them that whether this company is private limited. If it is small, one, two, or three people freelancing team, they will not have a private limited company. All the companies here who are an established company, they are a private limited establishment, and you can even ask them for their private limited incorporation papers just to verify that they're a proper company, and you will be not be ripped off in the middle of the project. They will maybe not be vanished. So pro tip number one, while you find a freelancer, in terms of making sure that there's no communication gap and you deal with a large team, is that making sure if you're outsourcing to India, they are an established private limited company. They have proper documentation and papers to show you, to prove you that they are an authentic establishment, to make sure that they have proper team and structure in place to provide you the right time and right communication that you deserve. Okay. Now number two problem that we discuss is regarding communication. Now as a client, how can you track that your communications are up to the mark and your progress is tracked up to the mark? Is that you need to make sure that you use a project monitoring tool. Okay, a lot of clients that we interact with, they come across these problems in the past and they explain us their problem. Now what is the main gap in communication is that, let's say you're working on different time zones, how can you track your projects, right? So there are tools you already may be aware of, like Slack, Jira, Basecamp. These are like very common tools. Or you can use Microsoft Teams or any other tracking tool through which you can track your daily activities with the team. Now what is the pro tip that I can provide you on top of it? Look, if you are either tracking through Jira, either you're tracking through Slack, or either you're tracking through Basecamp or any other, right? You need to check that the hours that is mentioned on your sheet, okay, whether the output is coming individually or from an individual team member, or it is from like a whole team. So you need to understand who is contributing what in your team. And pro tip that I want to give you is that have a weekly call with those individual contributors. Check in your sheet who is contributing. Let's say if somebody is designing UI UX, somebody is doing front end, somebody is doing back end, somebody is doing some portion of your work, okay, some coding, then you have to make sure that you understand exact people do exist in reality. Those people who are contributing are the individual people, are actually have those knowledge. Have a weekly meeting, okay, with them, so that you understand those are the actual contributors. If they are not even able to speak with you on a call, that means they are not real team members that you are actually billing for. So you have to understand, take a weekly call to understand who's contributing what. Just don't be shy to ask, hey, I see this thing to be done by this person. Why don't we have a call with the entire team on a week, maybe on a Monday, maybe on a Friday, so that you understand the entire team is on board, okay? You ask questions. It can be a 30-minute call, okay, just to make sure that you are dealing with the actual human, not some superficial billing that some one person is doing for 2 or 3%, right? So this communication is very, very important. Now that's bring me to the last point, the quality of the development, okay? So it's a very common problem that outsourcing partners may face, okay? The client may expect a higher quality, and the partner that you hire for may provide you not exactly the same kind of quality that you're looking for. Now if in case this happens, you have to understand whether the company that showed you their portfolio, their projects, okay, actually did that or not, right? You have to make sure how can you understand, first of all, they have done those projects. Now you have to go ahead and take a call with these guys, whosoever is the project manager or the people who manage those projects, to whom, and like you have to trust for, like, you see a project is very good by this XYZ company, you have to trust they have done this. Now you should ask and question about those projects. Look, I see this project to be done by you. What tech stack did you use? What kind of implementations that you have done? What kind of results did you got? What is your strategy? Once you cross question, you understand, you're going to have more confident that, okay, these are the guys who have done it. If they're just going to simply bring some random project and show you, they are not be able to answer it as flawlessly as they're supposed to be if they have really built it. So as a client, you have to be smart enough to understand the quality of it. Number two, payment as a milestone. You already know it, right? As a client, you have to make the payment as milestones, as the milestone is going to be cleared. Now there's nothing new about it, but again, I want to give you the pro tip that like a lot of client misses, is that first milestone and the second milestone have a big gap. Why it is? The company always going to push you, hey, we want this milestone to be done, like the second milestone to be as quickly as possible. No, the first milestone itself need to be really small, okay? It can be even 10%, right? Now in this 10%, you can have a very, very good clarity that how exactly the company is performing, right? You can have a very small sprint, even like the 10% or 20% of the project, and you can have a 10 to 20% milestone, just in case to check the quality of the development and the quality of the work that the company is doing. So okay, usually it should be a 30% or 35% milestone. But look, if you're dealing with a really serious project and you don't want your outsourcing partner to screw up, you can even have a 10 to 20% milestone, just in case to be safe, and you can bargain date with your outsourcing partner that, look, I want to have a 10 to 20% milestone at the first, okay, and I want to make sure the quality of your work, and then definitely we can have long-standing, like solid milestones after that. Now don't be shy to do that, okay? Just because a lot of clients that we dealt with also, they got stuck with other companies with 35-40% milestone at the payment, and then like the payment is so huge and they have to stuck for rest of the project, and at the end they understood that it is not up to the mark. Okay, we have understood and heard those horror stories from the client. So Just make sure that 10 to 20% milestone. If you are like having a large project, if it's a small project, that's a different story altogether. If you having like a mid or large project, then obviously try to go for 10 to 20% milestone payment at the start, just to make sure that you are dealing with somebody really serious, and you are dealing with someone like that is authenticated to do the quality of the job that you're looking for. Now, having discussed all these, now let's come back to the topic, how iTechnoLabs can help you out with your solutions. Let's start with basic understanding how iTechnoLabs can help you out with your outsourcing development journey. If you're looking for an outsourcing partner, iTechnoLabs can definitely help you out and give you the best quality, best communication, and best kind of project that you're looking to develop. First of all, if we talk about the time gap or the difference of time with the client, so we have dedicated project managers, dedicated project coordinators, who's going to make sure is that they meet your time gap and they meet your time zone, just to make sure is that we provide you quality communication and quality updates at exact time that you deserve. Now, the second problem that we discuss about, the communication gap a lot of people faces. So we have people who make sure that they possesses the communication skill and updates that you require to get the updates that you require for, and also the tools that you require, or the tools that will give you the most updated knowledge of what's going on with your project. And you can always have one-to-one communication or a team communication with the entire team whenever it is required, in a transparent manner, to understand who is working what, and it actually a team that you are dealing with in a outsource setup. Now, if I talk about the quality, if I talk about code quality check, if I talk about the quality of the entire project management, if I talk about the quality of the deployment, if I talk about the quality of the overall project cycle from A to Z, from concept to design to code to deployment, we're going to make sure that we live up to your expectations as an outsourcing partner. And we have hundreds of thousands of projects to give that testimonials for. We have 230 plus dedicated developers to work for you. We have like web development, app development, AI, blockchain, DevOps, you name it. We have got the department to cater your requirements. So if you're looking for an outsourcing partner for your IT services, do contact us at iTechnoLabs. The contact information is in your screen. We would love to help you with your IT projects, and would make sure that we stand with you as a long-standing partner as your development outsourcing needs and partner that you require for a long-standing partnership. Thank you very much.